Hello everyone, welcome to the ITLS Academy. Today's topic on food surveillance. Let's begin with the introduction first. The food and nutrition surveillance is the collection, integration, analysis, interpretation, and dissemination of data related to food and nutrient intakes, food safety, and environmental exposure, nutritional status, nutritional related health outcomes, knowledge, attitude, and practice about healthy eating and other related lifestyle factors, demographics, personal and environmental health determinants, and factors affecting access to safe, affordable, nutritious foods. Surveillance of human illness and epidemiological investigations of outbreaks can identify previously unknown hazards and provide feedback on an effectiveness of the existing control measures. So, food surveillance is basically considered with the safety of the food and water is a requirement of public health. Safety refers to all hazards which make food injurious to health. And these hazards arises from improper agricultural practice or poor hygiene at all the stages of the food chain and lack of preventative control in the food processing operations, misuse of the chemicals and contaminated inputs and inappropriate storage and handling and various others reasons for intoxication and health hazard. Specific concerns about the food hazards are chemical and microbiological contaminants, biological toxins, pesticides, residues, veterinary drugs residues, and allergens. So that is why public health surveillance of the food disease is critical to the performance of the food safety system, and surveillance of the human illness, as I told, is epidemiological investigation of the outbreak can identify previously unknown hazards and provide feedback on the effectiveness of the existing control measures. For example, the investigation of a multi-state outbreak of Salmonella Stanley infection in 1995, which was led to the first identification of alpha alpha sprouts as a vehicle of Salmonella. So, there are a sufficient food surveillance system must ensure that only safe and wholesome food are marketed, take decisions based on science, empower authorities to detect sources of contamination and take necessary action to prevent contamination foods from reaching the consumers, enforce compliance by farmers, manufacturers, distributors, importers, and other stockholders, and be transparent and promote public confidence. So, the Food Safety Committee and authority examines all the aspects of the chemical microbiological contaminations, conduct total diet survey, carry out risk analysis, formulate standards, and suggest appropriate actions that should be included in the policies. Here are the project components. If you have to go for the food surveillance, so the project components includes all these points: the surveillance, the sample analysis, data processing, data abstraction and reporting, linking to external agencies and other sources, and access level. Surveillance is the data gathering by sampling officers will be conducted in the field. The officer will enter the relevant information on the food related premises into the database and along with sample identifier at the time samples are taken. Samples will be identified and submitted to an associated public analyst or NHS Scotland laboratory. Next is your sample analysis. The laboratories will perform the appropriate analysis and enter the result into their local database system. The public analyst laboratories are using a dedicated laboratory information management system, while NHS laboratories are using a range of heterogeneous systems. Your data processing tells about the data will be extracted from the bespoke software system designed for capturing food, feed, sampling data into the corresponding laboratory database, and the data will be uploaded into the centralized food analysis database at HPS. Next point is your data abstraction and reporting. The uploaded surveillance and analysis data will be available for querying via secure system on a web server at HPS. This will provide controlled access to the centralized database by local council, public analyst, NHS laboratories, and the FSAS. The database may be queried and report obtained using an authorized internet connection to the web server. Next is your linking to external agencies and other sources. The investigations are also taking place on the validity of linking the food data to human health data, veterinary data, where appropriate commercially held quality control data. Linking these data with the proposed system will require alignment on interface process, but given a full description of the external data sources, the extensions to provide comparative analysis report based upon the gathered and external data should prove relatively straightforward. Last is your access level. Access to the database will be provided to individual councils, laboratories, and the food standard agencies. It is anticipated that local council will have full access to all the data provided by them initially through the individual samples and summarized data at license group and national level. Next is your procedure to carry out food surveillance in jurisdiction to identify potentially hazardous food. So, food is inspected in accordance with the relevant legislation, the Food Law Code of Practice, and relevant guidance to ensure that it meets the legally prescribed standard. In this, it is divided into chemical sampling and bacteriological sampling. The chemical sampling includes the food from approved food premises, which manufacturers or processes foods will be sampled at least twice or thrice times annually. This sample will, wherever possible, be taken from the approved premises 2 months prior to the planned food standard inspections to allow the inspecting officers to have the result at their disposal. Additional samples may also be taken by inspecting officers during following any inspection or other visits. Next is your bacteriological sampling. The importance of frequent bacteriological sampling from premises which manufacture or process food is being recognized. Accordingly, food from premises which have received approved under product specific legislation will be sampled at least twice or thrice annually. The samples will, wherever possible, be taken from approved premises prior to the planned food standards inspections to allow the inspecting officer to have the result at their disposal. Additional samples may also be taken by inspecting officers during or following any inspections or other visits. The next topic is your sampling procedure. All food sampling undertaken by the enforcement officer will be carried out in accordance with the Food Safety Act 1990, the Food Law Code of Practice, the Food Law Practice Guidance, the Food Safety Regulation 1990, and the Food Hygiene Regulation 2006. The enforcement policy on food safety legislation and the quality assurance documentation both advise that enforcement action and sampling should comply with the above documentation. All documented procedures relating to food sampling are reviewed periodically and amended where necessary. Minimum quantities of the food to be submitted for analysis or examination are in accordance with the guidance issued by the appointed food examiner or public analyst. Next is your steps to be taken for reporting and dealing with the food incidents. The first is the reporting. Incident report from food and feed recall and withdrawals. The agencies has produced an online form so food and feed businesses can notify the agency if they need to withdraw products from the market. The forms can also used by food authorities to report incidents They should also notify the local authority where the food business operator is based, or in the case of import, the relevant port health authority. When it is completed and submitted, it will notify the agency's food incident branch of the withdrawal recall. The agency's incident branch will verify all information received to ensure its authenticity, and after verification, the information will be automatically included in the agency incident database. The reporting system, which has a secure login feature, allows user to save and reprint the data they are submitting about new food incident and the product known to be affected. For each report sent to the agency, the users will be provided with an automatic electronic receipt and an individual reference number. The agency incident branch will verify all the information as I told and receive to ensure the authenticity. The agency's incident database, this will uh, greatly improve the handling and bringing together the food incident information, particularly where long list of products need to be sent to the agency. Next point is your dealing. In this, the food standard agencies and incident response protocol. Guidance for business and other on how to respond to a food or feed incident is available. A protocol has also been developed for food standard agencies, that is FSA staff, so they have a clear understanding of their respective roles and responsibilities during an incident and how they fit into the overall process. The next is your roles and responsibilities. The majority of incident that agencies deal with the classified as either low or medium, and during high incident where senior management may need to be more actively involved in the process, different roles and responsibilities are applied unless determined otherwise by the strategic director appointed for a high level incident. Communication with ministers and government department, local authorities, media and food business operator is devolved countries will be managed by the devolved officers. Next topic is your traceability. ISO 22005 has defined traceability as the ability to follow the movement of a feed or food through specific stage of production, processing and distribution. Traceability system should be able to document the history of the product or locate a product in the food chain, and it contributes the search for the cause of non-conformity and the ability to withdraw or recall product if necessary. Traceability system can improve appropriate use and reliability of information, effectiveness and productivity of the organization. Movement can relate to the origin of the material, processing history or distribution of the food, and should address at least one step forward and one step backward for each organization in the chain. The principle of traceability system should be verifiable, applied consistently and equitability, result oriented, cost effective, practical to apply, and compliant with any applicable regulations or policy and compliant with defined accuracy requirement. Here are the main objectives of traceability, that in developing a food chain traceability system, it is necessary to identify the specific objectives to be achieved. These objectives should take into consideration the traceability principles. Example of the objectives are the following. Uh, it aims to support food safety and quality objectives, to meet customers and specification, to determine the history or origin of the product, to facilitate the withdrawal and recall of the product, to identify the responsible organization in the feed or in the chain, to facilitate the verification of specific information about the product, to communicate information to relevant stockholders and consumers, to fulfill any local, regional, national, and international regulation or the policies, and to improve the effectiveness, productivity, and profitability of the organization. So, traceability system generally comprises of two primary capabilities: the ability to track movement and to trace custody of the food product in the food chain. In defining traceability, it is important to distinguish between the term tracking and tracing. The tracing is the ability to recreate the history of a product in the food chain and to identify the origin, movements, and relevant associated information of a particular unit or batch of the product located within the supply chain by reference to record held in upstream. Whereas, if we talk about the tracking, tracking is the ability to trace the destination of the product in a food chain and to follow a path of a specified unit or a batch of a product through the supply chain as it moves from organization towards the final point of process, point of sale, point of service, or point of consumption. In other words, we can easily say it is the movement of the product forward through the food chain to understand where it has gone and what it has gone into and what it has come into contact with. So traceability is a tool to control quality, to find the cause of the quality problem, helps in logistic and in rationalizing the process linked to logistic flow. It plays an important role in consumer safety and allowing speedy and targeted recalls and withdrawals. It answers the requirement of the regulation and is a part of marketing in contributing to protection of the brand image. Thank you for being with us. For more information, please log on to our website www.itlsacademy.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, and yes, subscribe our channel ITLS Academy at YouTube. Thank you.